It's the Wilk Report. I'm Michael Wilk, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio, with a huge freaking headache right now over this. Comicbook.com is basically making an outrageous statement. Well, when don't they make outrageous statements? So let me just get to the article. All right, so the title posted today, April 10th, 2019 at 6:49 p.m. I think it was actually posted yesterday, but updated today probably. It says, STD is again proving to be the spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine. Okay, wait a minute. Wait, what? What do you mean again? It was never the spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine. The only thing linking these two is that they both had a catastrophic war depicted in them. That's it. That's the only connection to these two shows. There is no other link. There's no spiritual succession at all. All right, let me just scroll down here. It says, once again, it was never the spiritual successor. Yeah, the writer here, Jamie Lovett, apparently someone who's never actually watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine. During STD's first season, we noted that its exploration of Starfleet at wartime was an echo of Deep Space Nine's Dominion War arc. No, it isn't. Okay, and second season is exploring one of Deep Space Nine's other major themes, faith in the sci-fi universe. No, hang on, hang on. I know comicbook.com is owned by CBS, and the writers are basically shills for STD, but this stretches all bounds of credibility here. Okay, first of all, Star Trek Deep Space Nine did not start out with a war being waged, okay? It started off as a spin-off of Star Trek The Next Generation, set up on board a space station that was negotiated away by the Cardassian Empire to Starfleet as part of a treaty ending their war. And Cisco is taken for some prophesied emissary from the prophets, which turned out to be aliens inhabiting a pocket dimension inside a wormhole. And it's only in, I think it's like third or fourth season where we get the Dominion War. But there's actually a build-up over time, okay? It doesn't start all in one season and then just go through the whole run. No, we first see like the first few seasons, like 2 or 3 seasons. It's basically a regular Star Trek show, exploring the problems on board a space station, and especially one where the planet it's orbiting is basically just come out of occupation from an invading army, and then they don't build that up into. I mean, it takes years of build up, and then it explores how the war challenges people's core values, and shows them actually maintaining those core values in the face of that war, even if sometimes they do have to make compromises. But there's actual credible, believable storytelling in Deep Space Nine. With STD, they just start off with a war started by Starfleet, specifically a Starfleet officer who, for some reason, even though she got sent to prison for starting that war and getting her ship destroyed and her captain and half the crew killed, and on the belief that, we must shoot first and, to hell with everything else, get the Klingons. The second thing is, it's not actually dealing in faith. From what's been reported, STD had to edit out the faith stuff because it wasn't working and they had to do reshoots. So, I mean, there's really no faith at all being addressed here. Oh my God, dude. I mean, this is just completely and totally nuts. I mean, you're basically saying that STD is like Deep Space Nine. That's what you're saying. And the two are nothing alike. Star Trek Deep Space Nine was actually a Star Trek show. STD is not a Star Trek show. It's a generic science fantasy show with the Star Trek label slapped onto it. But it's not Star Trek. There is no spiritual connection to Star Trek. There's no sense of exploration. There's no sense of a better future for humanity. There's no sense of storytelling revolving around the human condition, or what it means to be human, or our relationship to technology and how it affects us. I mean, there's nothing like that in there. It's just Game of Thrones in space. I mean, there's no spiritual succession going on here. There are no parallels either. My God, I mean, love it, and the rest of the shows at comicbook.com. It's obvious that they've never actually seen a single solitary episode of Deep Space Nine at all. They've never watched any actual Star Trek. What the hell? Come on, get your act together, people. Grow up. Jeez, I mean, this is kind of like saying that iron pyrite is a spiritual successor to gold because it looks like gold. But it's not. It's fool's gold. For a reason, is that it fools you into thinking that it's gold because it looks superficially like gold. But it's a completely different substance. So, oh my God, dude. I mean, comicbook.com has no credibility here. I mean, these people have no idea what they're talking about. Star Trek, real Star Trek, continued Gene Roddenberry's legacy and vision. STD tossed it out the window and shat all over it. There's no connection at all. There's no succession. I mean, you're basically saying that because the two shows had a war depicted in them, and because one superficially touches on faith, well, first of all, Roddenberry and even Rick Berman and Brandon Braga, when they took over the shows, they kept religious references to a minimum because Roddenberry pretty much set out that although, yeah, there are matters of faith touched on in the show, but in the Federation, in the future, humanity really doesn't have all that much in the way of religion. I mean, yeah, they might have faith in God, but it's touched on as almost an afterthought. And people don't really, I mean, they might be spiritual, but, they're not religious. They left all that dogmatic bullshit behind. So, I don't know. It's like every time comicbook.com publishes something like this, I just start getting headaches because they clearly have never once looked at an episode of Deep Space Nine or any other Star Trek show. They're just regurgitating stuff that CBS is sending them in the form of bullet points to write up, and that's it. And if you've ever wondered why so many articles owned by large written by writers for large corporations like CBS or Disney or whatever, if you ever wonder why they all sound the same, well, it's because they are given a list of bullet points that they have to check off and write around it, and that's why they all sound similar. All right? I mean, this is standard corporate practice, push the propaganda. Well, I'm not buying it. All right? I mean, first of all, to call this show a spiritual successor, there would have to be something actually comparable between STD and Deep Space Nine. There would have to be an actual succession. There's only superficial elements that, I mean, basically you're saying that because both shows depict a war, then, they must be very similar. Well, no, they're not. I mean, by that regard, you might as well call Ronald Moore's Battlestar Galactica reboot, which was also crap. You might as well just say that's a spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine, because that too had a war in it. But of course, they're two different shows, and again, Battlestar Galactica was only superficially similar to the original. It basically was Battlestar Galactica in name only. And hell, even Edward James Olmos said, it's not the same thing. When the show first came out. So I mean, this is just complete and total bullshit propaganda coming out from comicbook.com, and I'm really disappointed that comicbook.com would try to even assume that we are this stupid that we'll actually fall for it. This article, this entire article, relies on you never having watched a single episode of Deep Space Nine, because if you were, and you can go on to, say, Netflix, you can go on to H&I network if you've got it on local TV. There's all sorts of stuff that you can watch, and you can watch a show in syndication. But if you were to actually watch Deep Space Nine, there's no comparison. The STD is nothing like it. So, yeah, this is just complete and total bullshit that comicbook.com is putting out, and I hope to God that nobody who reads this article is at all fooled. If you are, I'm sorry, but they're lying to you. There's no spiritual succession going on here at all. At all. So, all right, I gotta wrap this up, because I'm actually gonna see if I can try and get a Shazam review done up either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, and then I'm gonna launch right into my Orville, because the Orville comes back tomorrow, and I'll be able to get my Star Trek fix then. So yeah, all right. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree, disagree, why or why not? If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive notifications whenever we upload new content. And if you want to help support the channel, keep the lights on, head over to our Patreon or Subscribe Star page. We can't do this without you. Until next time, this is Michael Wilk for the Wilk Report saying take care, good night, I'm out.